Good evening. I'm Mark Strassman reporting from Houston, Texas. Harvey, the most powerful hurricane to hit this state since John F. Kennedy was president, is now a massive tropical storm. It is expected to churn over southeast Texas well into the week, dumping more than 4 feet of rain on areas including Houston. In a tweet, the National Weather Service said the breadth and intensity of this rainfall are beyond anything experienced before. More than 1,000 people were rescued here today from flooded cars, homes, and businesses. Many had to scramble to rooftops to escape. At least 2 people are confirmed dead, but officials fear that number will rise. Harvey made landfall along the Gulf Coast of Texas Friday night as a Category 4 hurricane with a tremendous surge of seawater and winds of 130 miles an hour. The coastal town of Rockport took a direct hit. Homes were blown apart. The monster storm, roughly 600 miles wide, is also unleashing tornadoes, though officials say the biggest threat now is the catastrophic flooding, including here in the nation's 4th largest city. Houston's water crisis spread so far, so fast. Emergency officials refused to pinpoint which neighborhood was hardest hit. Harvey dumped 24 inches of rain in 20 hours here. Floodwaters turned communities into islands overnight, and residents had to scramble for higher, drier ground any way they could. Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
This likely is going to be an historic rainfall, if not an all-time record.
By noon today, emergency boats had made more than 1,000 high-water rescues, including residents at La Vita Bella Assisted Living Facility in Dickinson. 15 people waited for help in waist-deep water. Families in some flooded neighborhoods boated themselves to safety, and neighbors pulled each other out of trouble or tried to. This boat flipped, but the people who tumbled into the water were rescued. In downtown Houston, we watched the driver of this Toyota Tundra try to barrel through a flooded low spot along I-45. Suddenly, the pickup truck started to float in 10 feet of water, and he was in trouble. People urged him to get out, worried he might drown, and he finally swam out. But then he tried to climb back into his truck, he told me later, to save his glasses.
I thought it was just a couple feet, you know, and I didn't think it was that deep until it was too late. I couldn't do nothing.
The 59-year-old driver said he was too embarrassed by his mistake to give us his name. Houston opened its downtown convention center as a shelter for evacuees. By late afternoon, the first several hundred people had arrived, hoping for food and warmth, like Gillis Leho, who fled rising water in her home.
It just was so real. We had to bust a window when they told us that the current was, you know, getting high. We had to bust a window to get out.
We're in Port Aransas, Texas right now. They got hit hard by Hurricane Harvey right when it came ashore, now bracing for another hit. Matt Gutman is there.
Hey, good morning, George. I'm going to walk you through what is literally a path of destruction. This was an RV park. That storm lifting up these mobile homes, rattling them, gutting them, slamming them back down on top of each other. And in the debris here, we find things like, you know, a family Bible, barbecue sauce, a microwave, all dumped on each other. Now, the mayor of this community says that there is 100% damage here, and some of the things you see here make your brain skip a beat. A boat in the middle of the road, the contents of this house also absolutely gutted, and it's like this up and down for so many of these coastal communities here.
There you go.
With alarms still blaring, overnight, first responders kicking indoors. It's the desperate dash to rescue those still trapped in Rockport. Harvey slammed into the Texas coast late Friday as a Cat 4, chewing up whole towns. These storm chasers yelping as a mass of debris clips them.
And in the light of day, the power of 130-mile-per-hour winds is laid bare, obliterating that entire block. Check out this house, lifted up off its foundation, turned 90 degrees, slammed back down on the ground. But what's most stunning is the scope of it all.
300,000 still without power here on the coast.
It'll be a year, and it's not going to be easy.
Among the thousands displaced, the Weeks family. Danielle is scheduled for a C-section tomorrow. They fled their home in Port Aransas to Corpus Christi and sat through the storm.
And what about your home?
We're pretty worried that we won't have a home to go back to.
On Saturday, they asked us to join them to see if their home survived.
We're hoping for the best.
But a police checkpoint blocked residents from going back.
So we're going to go check this out for you. And you're okay with that?
Yes.
So we drove in, threading through the destruction.
Every building has a little hit.
damage.
Yes. It's that bad.
We found the Weeks mobile home park.
You can tell why there was a mandatory evacuation order in this town, because anybody who had been in this mobile home park would likely not have survived.
And then we found their home. It was flipped over and gutted. Overnight, as they asked, we showed them what's left.
That's the baby's blanket that I was making for her.
It is so heartbreaking what that family went through, and I just want to give you a sense of how high the water was here. That seagrass going all the way up to the second story of the house. That's the storm surge we've been talking about. And complicating the recovery here, which could take months, even a year, is the fact that that storm is whipping back around, punishing these communities for a second time. And another major factor, there are basically no comms here whatsoever, no cell phones, no internet. The only way to communicate with the outside world is either via satellite or literally driving 20 miles out of here. Guys.
What a zone that is. Okay, Matt Gutman, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching. You are looking live now at Houston, Texas. That is a neighborhood of Meyerland right now. Entire neighborhoods underwater, as you can see. The rain still coming down. That's drone footage of the city as well right now. The rain is coming down. Houses just about submerged. We have never seen anything like this before.
It is just incredible, all the video and images that are coming in. And of course, Harvey is still wreaking havoc on the fourth largest city in America. And as we have been saying, it is far from over.
Much more rain to come. There have been more than 2,000 rescues in the Houston area. Take a look at this video from overnight. That man just holding onto his car, waiting to be rescued as the current threatens to sweep him away. More rescues are still going on right now. We're going to talk to the police chief about that in a moment.
And then take a look at some of these before and after images. They are truly stunning. This is the interstate before Harvey. And then just a few hours later, look at that. The rising water almost all the way up to that sign. And then take a look at the runway at HARVEY Airport before. And now it is completely underwater.
So much cleanup to come. Here's what we know right now. At least 5 deaths so far have been blamed on the storm. There could be up to 50 inches of rainfall in the storm zone. FEMA and the National Guard have been deployed to the scene. The governor expects to add 1,000 more National Guard today.
And we have team coverage across the storm zone in southern Texas this morning. First, let's head straight to ABC's chief national correspondent, Tom Llamas, in another neighborhood in Houston with some of those remarkable rescues that have been going on. Tom, good morning.
Amy, good morning to you. This rain just will not stop, and this no doubt is going to hurt the rescue effort today. There are search and rescue teams from all over the country pouring into Houston. The Coast Guard has 50% of its helicopter fleet right now in this city, and here's the reason why. So many neighborhoods completely flooded. These transformers right here swamped, so there's no electricity. And the deeper you go, the darker it gets. Unless you're on a boat or a helicopter, you're not getting out. This morning, Houston families trying to stay above water. So many piling into canoes, rafts, and rescue baskets. Standing on roofs, waving, yelling, anything to escape the relentless rain and rising water. Producer Joe Gleason from our station KTRK broadcasting live as the water inside his home grew from a few puddles to several feet of sludge.
When it started coming in, it was just you know, couple puddles here, and then it got to be more, and then we just said, you know what, let's just get safe.
This traffic cam capturing rescuers pulling up alongside a sinking truck. The driver gripping onto the side, desperately trying to hold on. They carry him to safety. The National Weather Service predicting some areas here will see 50 inches of rain. And another danger in the sky, the threat of tornadoes. Among those most at risk, the elderly. This heartbreaking image of a group of senior citizens trapped in an assisted living facility, the water up to their waist, some in wheelchairs. And this little girl on a ventilator, trapped with no power in a flooded home, sleeping alongside her brothers on a kitchen countertop.
There's some older people that really need to get some medical attention, and we're trying to convince them that the best thing is to get them out.
That's George Jackson. He and his brother Alex are now part of Houston's Citizen Navy. They showed us how they're taking it upon themselves to rescue neighbors.
Some of the areas you can't see if it's a foot or 10 feet.
The road in their neighborhood, now canals.
Take a look at that car. It's almost completely underwater. And look at these waves as they're coming in.
We told them about a woman we heard was trapped. All we had was her name, Yvette, and a possible address. But that's all they needed.
There's like multiple dogs and cats.
The home completely underwater.
There's definitely more than 2 feet of water in this house, maybe almost 3 feet of water.
The homeowner emotional at the sign of help.
It's our home, and I'm going to start crying and be like an idiot.
It's all right. I mean, I see your house.
I know, we're fine, like we're okay. We're just really ready to get out.
Then Yvette, who had put out her SOS on social media, emerged.
Hi,
Yvette, Tom Yamas from ABC News.
Thank you so much.
Both women telling us how quickly the water started building.
It came in at 5:30, and before you know it, it's a foot, then it's 2 feet, and it envelops the house like you cannot imagine.
Outside, they head for the boats with their dogs, cats, even birds, and meet the men who just saved them all.
Oh my God, Jackson Brothers, hello, thank you so much. How many people have you rescued today? A lot.
The Jackson brothers have made more than 30 rescues, saving around 100 people so far, and they tell us they're just getting started.
Thank you.
The Jackson brothers are some real heroes. All those families got out safely. As for those senior citizens you saw in our story, they were rescued by helicopter. And as for that little girl who was on the ventilator, she also was rescued by helicopter, she and her family. And George, get this, her name is Miracle. Back to you.
That is very apt. Tom Yamas, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.